Hello everyone! Welcome back to The Cozy Chair. I am glad that you are here for our final book of our Disney celebration. Now, whoa, don't panic. I know there are still a lot of Disney books. And don't worry, we'll get to those books later in the year. But some of you have been waiting for your special books. So today we are going to finish it up. At least it means that we have a surprise! Do you remember how I told you that in Disneyland I bought a surprise for all of you on the channel? It's a book. Of course it's a book. You knew it was a book. But we're going to see what book it is. Do you guys want me to open it? Clap really, really hard if you want me to open it. Clap, 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 clap. Okay, I can tell you want me to open it. Now, do any of you want to guess what book it might be? Do you want to guess? I'll listen, okay? You shout it out if you think you know which book it is. Okay, go ahead. Tell me. Oh, some of you are right. Okay, this is, ready? Drum roll. You can tap right on your lap, just like that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Moana! What do you think about this? Raise your hand really high if you have seen this movie. Do you like this movie? Okay, put your hands down. Okay, now raise your hand really, really high if your favorite character is Maui. Raise it really high. Okay, put it down, put it down, put it down. Raise your hand really, really high if your favorite character is Hey! Is he your favorite? I think that chicken is so silly. Now put it down. And last of all, raise your hand super high if your favorite character is Moana. Oh, you guys love Moana, don't you? Do you know what my favorite thing is about this whole book? The whole show? It's the music. I think the music is so fun to listen to, and my kids love to dance to it. Okay, well, this is, surprise, a big golden book. They have big golden books, not just little golden books, and it's published by Random House. This is Disney's Moana, and it is adapted by Bill Scalone, okay? And it's illustrated by the Disney Storybook Art Team. Wouldn't that be fun to be part of a Disney art team and to draw these really cool pictures? That'd be pretty fun. Okay, so let's see what happens on the island of Motunui. In the beginning, there was nothing but ocean. Then the mother island Te Fiti emerged. From her heart, all life was created. One of the new islands was called Motunui. Protected from the ocean waves by a barrier reef, the island was a paradise for its people. And all those who called Motunui home were bound together by traditions and legends. One of the most famous legends told of Maui, a shape-shifting demigod with a magical fishhook. Like many others, he believed Te Fiti's heart held life-giving power. Isn't that exciting? Taking the form of a hawk, Maui flew to the mother island and stole the heart of Te Fiti. Now, do you think that was a very good idea? I don't know. The children of the village sat spellbound as Grandma Tala continued her story. Maui tried to escape, she said, but he was confronted by Taka, a demon of earth and fire. In the battle, Maui lost both the heart and his fishhook. With the heart gone, a terrible darkness spread across the world. It will continue to spread, Grandma Tala said, draining the life from island after island. The other children were scared, but Moana loved the stories. Listen, look at all those children listen to Grandma Tala. And can you spot the picture of Maui in the back? And oh, look, who is this? This is Taka. As the other children wailed, little Moana wandered to the ocean shore. She saw a baby turtle in trouble, so she helped it to the water. As the turtle swam away, Moana saw a pretty shell. She picked it up and the ocean backed away to reveal more shells. Isn't that interesting? She picked it up and the ocean backed away to reveal more and more shells. Moana giggled as the ocean presented her with a beautiful green stone. When Chief Tui called for his daughter, the ocean gently set Moana back on the beach before he arrived, and as Tui lifted Moana, the little girl accidentally dropped the ocean's gift. Grandma Tala saw everything and smiled. She knew what the stone was, and she took it. When the time was right, she would return it to Moana. See, can you see right here? There's Moana. She's helping the baby turtle. And here is Moana getting the heart of Te Fiti. The ocean was choosing Moana. As Moana grew, so did her love for Motunui and its people, as well as her connection to the ocean. Chief Tui made sure his daughter understood and appreciated all the wonderful things about the village. Inside their protected bay, the people were safe and had everything they needed. Tui told Moana she would find happiness right where she was. She would make a wonderful chief when she was older. She's supposed to grow up to be the chief of the whole island of Motunui. That means she has a lot of important lessons that she needs to learn. When Moana turned 16, Chief Tui took her to the island's highest peak, way up here on the mountain. It was where every chief who had come before had placed a stone, like I did when my dad did and his dad before him. Tui told Moana, when you are ready, you will add your stone to the mountain and raise our island higher. It's time to be who the people need you to be. Do you like those pictures? I love looking at these pictures because they make me feel warm, like I'm sitting on the island in the sun. Moana still felt drawn to the ocean. She heard at the village council that fish were growing scarce in the bay, and she wondered if there were more fish in the open sea. Even though the villagers were forbidden to sail across the reef because it was too dangerous, Moana decided to try. But waves wrecked the boat and tossed her back to shore. Moana felt discouraged. Perhaps it was time to give up on the sea and place her rock on the mountain. But Grandma Tala encouraged Moana to listen to her heart. Then she took Moana to a hidden cavern. Do you know what a cavern is? It's like a really big cave. What's in there? Asked Moana. Grandma Tala smiled. The answer to the question, who are you meant to be? Inside the cavern were dozens of huge, ancient sea voyaging boats. We were voyagers! Cried Moana. Why did we stop? Look at all these great boats. Their people, Moana's people, used to be voyagers. That means they sailed all around the sea. Maui is to blame, explained Grandma Tala. After he stole the heart, darkness fell and monsters prowled the ocean. To protect the people, ancient chiefs forbade voyaging. The darkness has continued to spread, said Grandma, pointing to blackened trees around them, chasing our fish and draining the life from island after island. She looked at Moana. But one day, someone will deliver Maui across the ocean to restore the heart. Then she gave Moana the stone she'd been keeping safe, the heart of Te Fiti. The ocean chose you. Remember? Remember that day when she was little and the ocean gave her the heart? Soon afterward, Grandma Tala became very ill. She pressed her necklace into Moana's hand. It would hold the heart of Te Fiti while Moana traveled. Quickly, Moana chose a canoe from the cavern and set off. Far out at sea, she discovered a stowaway, a rooster named Hey-Hey. Moana barely knew how to sail. Then a storm hit. Now, a big storm on the sea is hard for the best sailor. But if you've never sailed before, being in a storm like that would be very, very scary. Oh, look who it is. The storm tossed Moana's boat into a rocky island. A Maui's island. He'd been marooned for 1,000 years, looking for a way to escape so he could recover his magical fish hook. Without the hook, he had no shape-shifting powers. Moana told Maui he must go with her to restore the heart of Te Fiti. But Maui was only interested in bragging about his great feats, like pulling up the sky, lassoing the sun, and bringing fire to humans. "You're welcome," he said. What do you guys think about that? Do you remember in the show when he sang that song? "You're welcome." Yeah, that was a pretty fun part, don't you think? Maui took Moana's boat and left her behind. "Enjoy the island," he shouted. Moana swam after Maui, but he was too far ahead. Suddenly, the ocean lifted Moana up and set her on the boat. Maui was speechless. That shows that the ocean is helping Moana. Yes. Moana held up the heart. "I am Moana of Matanui," she said bravely. "You will journey to Tafiti and restore the heart." Maui backed away. "That's not a heart. It's a curse." Remember, he doesn't like the heart. Without warning, a spear slammed into the canoe. It was the Kakamora. Vicious little bandits wearing coconut armor. They wanted the heart. See, Moana's not the only one who wants the heart. There are other travelers out there that want the heart of Tafiti. The bandits swarmed the boat. In commotion, the heart fell out of Moana's necklace, and Hey gobbled it up. A bandit snatched the dim-witted rooster and ran back to his ship. Moana chased him, batted the Kakamora out of the way, and grabbed Hey. She returned to her canoe just as the rooster coughed up the heart. But the Kakamora boats were still after them. Grabbing the oar and the lines to the sail, Maui expertly sailed out of danger. Do you remember when their ships all broke apart? They sailed right between the Kakamora ships. After defeating the Kakamora, Moana couldn't wait to battle Taka and restore the heart, but Maui just wanted his fish hook back. Moana had an idea. "We get your hook, then save the world. Deal?" Maui hesitated, but Moana pointed out that he'd be a hero if he restored the heart of Tafiti. "Deal," he said at last. Moana asked Maui to teach her how to sail. "You'll never be a wayfinder," he scoffed. The ocean didn't like the sound of that. It picked up one of the Kakamora blow darts and jabbed Maui. Oh, that's why he's laying like that. He's like asleep. He can't move his muscles. Maui collapsed, temporarily paralyzed except for his head. "Really?" he asked the ocean. "If you can talk, you can teach," said Moana with a laugh. Maui finally agreed, but only because he had to. Do you like that picture? He's going to have to explain to her how to sail. Maui knew that Tamatoa, a monstrous crab who loved collecting shiny things, had took his hook. But Tamatoa's lair was under the ocean in Lalotai, the dreaded realm of monsters. Does that sound like a place you would want to go? The realm of monsters? There was only one way into the mysterious world. Scale a 1,000-foot cliff and jump down a chute all the way through the ocean. Woo! There they go. Lalotai was a dark and mysterious land full of glowing plants and geysers that blasted through the watery ceiling. It wasn't long before Maui spotted his fish hook stuck to Tamatoa's shell, along with the rest of the giant crab's collection of shiny items. Maui charged in and grabbed his hook. "It's Maui time!" he cried. Then Maui tried to shapeshift into a hawk. Instead, he became a bug and then a pig. "This never happens to me," the demigod said in shock. Tamatoa pinned Maui to the ground. To distract the monster, Moana held up the heart of Tafiti, then dropped it into a crevice. Tamatoa skittered after the shiny stone while Moana ran to her injured friend. But Moana had tricked Tamatoa. She still had the heart. She helped Maui escape before the angry crab could grab them. They're starting to make a pretty good team, aren't they? Moana and Maui, they worked together to defeat him. Moana guided Maui into a geyser hole. Whoosh! The geyser blasted them to the surface. Moana knew Maui needed to regain his full strength to fight Taka, but the demigod couldn't master the hook's shape-shifting power. It seemed like Maui had given up. Oh, look at all these silly things he's shifting into. He's supposed to be shape-shifting into a hawk. Maybe it's because he hasn't been practicing so much. As he moped, Moana asked about one of his special tattoos. I had human parents, explained Maui. They didn't want me. They threw me into the sea like I was nothing. You're not nothing, said Moana. Maybe the whole reason the ocean sent me here is to help you see that. Moana's words touched Maui. He began practicing with the hook and got better and better. And as Maui regained his shape-shifting abilities, he taught Moana more about wayfinding. Is that a pretty cool picture of Maui? I think that's really neat. His muscles are pretty cool, huh? They're pretty big. At last, Maui felt ready. Moana used her new wayfinding skills to sail her boat straight to Tafiti. Clouds of smoke and ash rose over the barrier islands, hiding Taka. Moana gave Maui the heart and smiled. Go save the world, she said. Maui turned into a hawk and flew off to restore the heart to Tafiti. But suddenly Taka, the lava monster, burst through the clouds and knocked Maui out of the sky. No! Screamed Moana. Quickly she sailed in and pulled Maui from the water. This is a pretty cool page. Taka can be a pretty scary creature. Moana stared toward a narrow gap between the barrier islands. She was heading back into battle. We won't make it, said Maui. Turn around. Just then Taka brought down a fist to destroy the boat. Maui blocked it with his hook. What do you think is going to happen to his hook? Do you think it's going to be okay after Taka gets it? The shock wave blasted Moana and Maui far out into the ocean. The boat was in shambles and Maui's fish hook was cracked. We can fix it, Moana told him. It was made by the gods. You can't fix it. Maui refused to go back. Without my hook, I'm nothing, he said. He was afraid another fight with Taka would shatter his hook completely. Moana pleaded with him to stay. The ocean chose me, she said. It chose wrong, Maui replied angrily. Then he shapeshifted into a hawk and flew away. Oh, poor Moana. Maui left her all by herself to solve this big problem. Moana yelled at the ocean. Why did you bring me here? She asked, sobbing. Choose someone else. Then she dropped the heart of Tafiti back into the ocean. Just then a glowing manta ray swam by. A moment later the spirit of Grandma Tala appeared on the boat. I never should have put so much on your shoulder, she said, wiping away Moana's tears. If you want to go home, I will be with you. Do you see her, Grandma? This is a special part. But Moana could not make herself turn the boat around. Listen to the voice inside, Grandma said. Do you know who you are? Moana began slowly. I am the daughter of the village chief, she said. We are descended from voyagers. Moana's voice grew stronger as the spirits of her voyaging ancestors appeared near the boat. I have fought with monsters. I am all these things and more. I am Moana. She is gaining courage from her family that came before. Our family members that come before us make us strong. Moana dove into the ocean, swimming deeper and deeper in search of the heart. At last she saw it glowing at the bottom of the sea. Moana kept going until finally she had the heart. When she came back up, Grandma Tala was gone. Moana knew what she had to do. She repaired the boat and sailed back to face Taka on her own. She steered toward an opening between the barrier islands, heading for Tafiti. Here she goes. She's heading back again. Moana noticed that Taka couldn't move through the water. That meant that if she got past the barrier islands, she'd make it to Tafiti. But the lava monster brought down a fist again. Moana dodged the blow and turned toward another gap. When Taka cut her off, Moana doubled back. It was all part of her plan. At last Moana made it through, but Taka launched a lava ball that capsized her boat. Do you know what it means if a boat capsizes? It means it flips over. Taka's hand was poised over Moana, ready to deliver a final blow. Suddenly, who comes? Maui appeared and knocked the monster's fist away. "Maui!" cried Moana. "But your hook!" Maui held up the cracked hook and nodded. "Some things are more important," he said. "I've got your back. Go save the world." "Thank you," said Moana. Maui smiled. "You're welcome." Moana reached Te Fiti and scrambled up a slope, but something was wrong. The island was gone. There was no place to put the heart. She turned and saw that Taka had completely smashed Maui's fishhook, and for the first time Moana noticed a glowing spiral on Taka's chest. Let's see. Do you see this? Right here, she has that glowing spiral, the same spiral on the heart. Moana held the heart of Te Fiti over her head and spoke to the ocean. "Let her come to me." The water parted, opening a path that led straight to Taka. The monster raced towards Moana. Very calmly, Moana began to sing. Her song echoed what Grandma Tala had taught her and what she'd learned about herself. The words seemed to affect Taka, who slowed down. "I know who you are," Moana whispered. Then she placed the heart in the glowing spiral, and Te Fiti emerged. What do you think about that? This is Taka, who is actually Te Fiti. What happened was when you took out her heart and she didn't have love anymore, she turned mean and awful. But when she got her heart back, she returned to being Te Fiti. Maui apologized to Te Fiti. "What I did was, I have no excuse," he said. "I did it for myself, and I'm sorry. You may smite me now." Te Fiti brought down her fist, but not in anger. In her palm was Maui's fishhook, completely restored. With love, Te Fiti then set Moana on the beach, where her boat covered in flowers was ready to sail home. Moana gave Maui a hug. "You could come with me. My people are going to need a master wayfinder." "They already have one," said Maui. A tattoo of Moana, the wayfinder, appeared over his heart. See, there's Maui and Moana. And look, this is after he shifts into being the hawk. All across the ocean, life returned. The spreading darkness was gone. On Motunui, the land turned green and lush. Fish returned to the bay. The whole village joined Moana's parents at the water's edge to welcome Moana and hey home. At last, Moana was ready to become a leader and place her stone with those of the other chiefs. But for Moana, it wasn't a stone. It was a conch shell. The islanders were inspired and remembered who they were. Voyagers. Together they repaired the ancient boats and headed into the open ocean for a new era of exploration, led by a master wayfinder. She was Moana. Look at that. Look who came. Maui came. I think he was still watching over her. What did you think about that book? Did you like it? Did you like the story of Te Fiti and how when she lost her heart, then she became mean? Well, I'm really glad that Moana returned the heart and Te Fiti returned all of that wonderful green back to the islands. Well, I hope you liked that. Now that we're done with our Disney celebration, we have some other fun things coming up. Does anybody know what April Fool's Day is? Do you know? Well, I have a super silly book that I'm going to read around April Fool's Day. It is called When the Wind Changed. Now look at this kid's face. It is oh so silly. He makes silly faces in this book. Now I was kind of wondering, can you guys show me your silliest face? Oh, those are very silly faces. I'm sure you can do really funny faces. But here's the deal. If you want to show your silly face here on the Cozy Chair around April Fool's Day, then you need to send it to me. And I will post your pictures with this book. It's called When the Wind Changed. Okay, so you can DM me your picture at thecozychairclub on Instagram, or you can email me at thecozychairclub@gmail.com. So I'll be watching for all of those silly faces so that really close to April Fool's Day, I will post this book and all of your silly faces. Thank you so much for coming, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tell all your friends. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.